Hey guys, this is Leo with dualsim.us, and today I'm very excited to show you this new phone I just got. It's ASUS ZenFone 2. So this phone was imported from Taiwan actually, and although ASUS just released the same phone in the US, what I have here is a dual SIM version, not a single SIM which they sell here. So quick few words about this phone. As far as dual SIM phones go, I think this is one of the best phones out there that you can buy right now. It costs only about $250 to $280 online. I'll leave a link to the Amazon listing for it in the description below. A comparable quality and performance phone from, say, Samsung will cost you about $700-800. Same goes for LG. So you're saving $400 or $500 on this phone, and you're getting a very high-end device. Now, a few words about ASUS. They are trying to get into this high-end market, and they want to compete with LG, Sony, Samsung, Apple, and at the same time, their phones are pretty inexpensive. So let's take a quick look. Alright, so I already went ahead and opened this box, set up the phone, so we don't have to waste our time doing that. But I'll quickly tell you the specs on this phone, even show it to you. So this has Intel quad-core processor running at 1.8 gigahertz. It has 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, so you can take plenty of pictures and videos before running out of space. And you can extend that with a micro SD card up to 128 gigabytes, which is nice. It has a 5.5-inch Full HD display that is pretty bright and looks pretty good to me, but I'll show you and you be the judge. Alright, and as I said, it has a dual SIM capable modem that runs AT&T and T-Mobile LTE networks. So let's take a look. Here's the phone itself. We'll put it aside just for a second. I'll show you what's inside the box. We have a user manual and warranty card. You have a 2 amp charger, so the charging time should not be that slow. You have this okay looking earbuds, headphones, so just basic, nothing perfect, nothing great. And you have a USB cable, micro USB cable to charge it. So nothing spectacular inside the box. You don't have the screen protector like with the blue phones and other budget phones, but this is not a budget phone, so they want you to buy additional stuff. Alright, so the phone itself. You have this plastic back cover that resembles LG G3, and I want to tell you, ASUS went out of their way to make this phone look just like LG G3. So you have your volume rocker on the back. It's nearly the same texture on the back cover. It has like this not smooth, so it's not smooth, so it's difficult to drop this phone. And it's rather thick. It's not a thin device, and it's not very light, but for a dual SIM phone with this high-end specs, it's a really nice feeling phone. And just like G3, you have your screen on button right here, which is very knock-on, knock-off feature. And the power button is at the top. So also you have your headphone jack at the top. There's no buttons on the edges. Micro USB plug on the back. And that's it. If you look inside the phone, you see 2 SIMs, something very important to us. And as you can see, it says SIM 1, 2G, 3G, and 4G, while SIM 2 is only 2G. So basically, your second SIM is for phone calls and text messages. You don't use it for data connection. And your data connection all goes through SIM 1, and you can swap them. Not on the fly, unfortunately, but it's very neat if you travel, or if you need this phone for work, or let's say you live near the border and you cross the border all the time. You can have 2 SIMs, and works pretty nice. Otherwise, I don't see a point of having a dual SIM phone in the US where you have unlimited everything plans from T-Mobile that cost you $50 per line if you have a family plan. Alright, as I said, you can extend the storage by micro SD card. There's your slot for that. Your 13 megapixel camera there, dual flash. One is yellow, one is orange, so you get a more realistic flash color when you use it. I use flash a lot, so that's great. Now, ASUS claims that their camera on this phone performs great in a low light, and we'll put that to a test, just not right now because this is basically initial review video. As I said, I've already set it up, so we're going to do a speed test. Then I'll pause the video and I'll show you dual SIM capability on this phone. But before we proceed, I'll show you the controls on the front. They're capacitive touch buttons. They're not on-screen buttons. So the good thing about it, you get more screen real estate from this phone. So if you look at G3, they're identical size phones, but you lose this part of the screen to the touch buttons. The bad thing about it is that they're basically hardwired. You cannot swap the back button. You cannot move it to the right, which I prefer. I'm used to it being on the right, and now so I'm gonna have to learn basically to reach to the left side from now on. As you can see, it says 4G, and now remember, this is imported phone, so there's no shenanigans that AT&T and T-Mobile used to brand their 3G as 4G. This is real LTE, and we're going to do a speed test right now. So let's launch speed test. Now, as you can see, this is running LTE. We're probably not gonna get great speeds here because of the location. I'm not sure what's going on here. I've tested it before and the speed wasn't great. It wasn't what LTE should be, but you will see that speeds are compatible between the two phones. Alright, and I'll do another test in the location where I know there's good LTE speed, just so you can see the performance. Okay, so as I said, the speed test here doesn't show anything great, but it is LTE. And as I said, you can do both AT&T and T-Mobile LTE data on this phone. Okay, so I'm gonna pause and show you dual SIM capability. Alright, so as you can see, I have two T-Mobile SIM cards in this phone right now. And you get 4G on SIM 1, you get 2G on SIM 2. Now I'm gonna see if that improved the data speeds at all. Probably not. Well, a little bit, but I guess it has nothing to do with the SIM, it's just the connection that we have here. If you go to settings, once again, this is Lollipop. So you have your notification drawer Lollipop style, and I'm sure you can adjust this. I just didn't have time to do it yet. Now, as you can see, two T-Mobile SIM cards. We can go into settings, wireless networks, and access point names. You have them for both SIM cards, so you can switch between low speed and high speed T-Mobile for SIM 1 and same for SIM 2. Now I can't do a call test right now because I only have two SIM cards. I don't have a third one, but basically you have a really good reception on your SIM 2, which is very important. Like I said, the cheap dual SIM phones, they usually drop the connection on a second SIM, and it's usually on standby, it's not active. This one has dual active SIM cards. And if we go back into settings, there's even a setting for dual SIM somewhere. Now you can, when you make a phone call, let's say we call 800 888 555 5555. Doesn't matter the number, but you can call from either SIM1 or SIM2. You can set up so it's automatic. I'm gonna use SIM1 to call. We're gonna drop it, but you can also use second SIM to make the call. And same goes for text messaging. Let's say you wanna send a message to, you type the message and you can send it from either SIM1 or SIM2 right there. So, and like I said, you can set a default SIM card for calls and for text messages, or you can make it choose every time. So next and last thing I want to show you on this phone is actually camera. Now I already did a couple of tests, but what I found out is that this phone has a lot of camera settings. You can change white balance, ISO, exposure. You can do it has image stabilization. I'm not sure if it's optical, doesn't say on the specs. Basically, you have pretty much every setting imaginable for your camera, unlike G3, which is basically just auto mode, and you can also choose panorama or something like that, but nothing spectacular as far as settings. So let's take a picture right there, low light, or presumably low light, and here's the quality of the picture. I'll bring it in a little bit. So as you can see, it's not pixelated much. It's pretty good. I like the camera quality here. And this is auto settings. I didn't play with the settings yet. So, and now we're gonna take a picture of what's going on outside. Alright. Same story. You can see things outside. They're pretty clear, even if I do the zoom in on the picture. Now this is a 10 megapixel camera. Now this box did not come out that well, but you know, this is not a DSLR and it's pretty good for a phone. The colors I think are very realistic, very vivid. I like it. You can see this fence. You can see many details on it. Alright, so far my impressions, I really like this phone. It's very snappy. Now, I didn't root it yet. I'll probably do that real soon, and I'll make a video on how to do that. But so far I'm actually planning to use this phone as my main device. I think I'll actually switch from the G3 finally and have a high-end dual SIM phone that I can use every day. I will of course use it exclusively for 2 weeks and then do a full review of this phone for you. But before that, my first impressions, it's a pretty nice phone. It's a little bit heavier than G3, a little thicker. I don't have the screen protector for it yet, no case, but overall it's a pretty good phone. Now once again, the cost of this phone was $280 with free shipping. You can get it on Amazon, and it's a dual SIM Taiwanese version imported to the US. Now, as I said, ASUS has released their US version of this phone, and there are two of them. There's a low end for $200. You get 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of storage, and a slower processor. And then there is a 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, and a faster processor. But as far as processor goes, I think it's very fast, and with a full HD screen resolution, you don't really run into issues of quad HD screen performance-wise as far as gaming goes. So I think the processor speed is good enough for me and for 99% of the people. If you want to buy a US version, I would probably recommend the high-end because you get a lot of storage on board and you get 4 gigs of RAM, which probably is not important yet, but there will be heavy apps and games, and you don't want to run your RAM cleaning thing all the time. Probably won't need to, but just in case. I think the most important thing is 64 gigs of storage on board. That's very good. And for $300, that version, you can't really bring anything to compete with it. Like your basic iPhone costs 600, $700, and ASUS just beats LG, Samsung, Sony on the price, and quality is pretty good. Alright, if you like this video, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and come back soon for a full review of this ASUS Zen 2 phone. Alright, see ya.